The future of graphic design lies in its ability to stay relevant. Designers have attended many meetings that look like this one. Everyone in the room is the designer. Because anyone can now design, and design is fun. Design is fun. Design also entails hard work and late nights, and more often than not, it is practiced by well-educated, passionate professionals. Professionals who love and live design in everything they do. Design is fun, it's difficult, it's satisfying, and its relevancy is threatened. Currently, design is sandwiched between two threats to its relevancy: the unskilled professional and the misuse and appropriation of human-centered design by corporations. The unskilled professional perpetuates the myth that we are all designers. These are the curators of content, the crafters, and the web template downloader. The curator posts a provided image on Facebook and calls it design. The crafter selects a wedding invitation and calls it design. And this guy, we've all seen him. He's usually in Starbucks selling a client a custom website that is really a downloaded template from WordPress. The unskilled professionals create a threat to the field of design through their speed over craft, quantity over quality, and inflated level of expertise. Design critic Stephen Heller wrote, "People should not think they are designers because they can fiddle with type on a computer template. If people start thinking that graphic design is as easy as 1, 2, 3, it will diminish designers' authority and clients' respect." The second threat to the future of design are the corporations who are misusing human-centered design and appropriating the design process and principles as a new, easily obtained skill. This undermines the history and professionalism of design. Widely read business books outline the design process as a recent discovery that anyone can do and obtain. Meg's History of Graphic Design suggests that human-centered design can be traced back to the user-friendly size illuminated manuscripts meant for travel. Additionally, the misuse of human-centered design by corporations could reduce the designer's role as human-centered research becomes a replacement to human creativity. Google has begun a new effort called human-centered machine learning, using machines to create algorithms that are human-centered. These approaches could minimize the designer's relevancy through the reduction of creative thinking and the rejection of unique new ideas. If the creation of something new is removed from the definition of human-centered design, then what is the role of the designer? Don Norman, the king of human-centered design, stated in his essay, "Human-Centered Design Considered Harmful," what is needed is a strong, authoritative designer who can examine the suggestions and evaluate them in terms of the requirements of the activity. The solutions: develop a standard of expected skills and roles, a consistent design language, a code of ethics, and produce well-rounded intellects and talent from undergraduate design programs. Defining the roles and skills of the designer will differentiate design from a corporate version of design and the unskilled professional. In recent years, the titles associated with design roles and skills have become ambiguous, creating credibility concerns. For example, the title of creative director was associated with leadership and longevity. It is currently used for a wide range of skills, no longer associated with experience. Industry confusion is increased by expectations of the designer to have a large range of multiple interdisciplinary skills. The inability to clarify roles, have realistic skill sets, and have a standardized hierarchy of titles creates confusion in hiring and credibility issues within the industry and with clients. Defining roles and skills would set expectations for clients, agency hiring, and creating interdisciplinary teams. The industry should return to a time when titles were based on experience earned and when specialization to one part of the process was respected and appreciated. Design needs to define its own design language to differentiate itself from the unskilled professional and corporate misuse of human-centered design. Using the language of art and the history of design would be a good start. For example, a designer has available to them the language of art for describing composition and color, semiotics to communicate complex data, modernism to describe order, and postmodern for discussions of pluralism. Currently, design is incorporating the language of UX and research into its vocabulary. An example is the word chunking from the UX world, replacing the Gestalt design language of proximity. Through the loss of established language in favor of another discipline's language, designers lose their history and credibility. The quick rejection of new appropriate language into buzzwords is also a concern. An example is the use of the relatively new phrase empathy in design was recently questioned by design theorist Jessica Helfand. On the podcast The Observatory, Helfand said, "I am so sick of the word empathy in design. Empathy is an appropriate word to associate with design, so why so quickly abandon it?" Designers can be their own worst enemy. The majority of designer monographs are no words, all pictures. There is a focus on make it pretty over the language of content, context, function, form, and outcome. There are exceptions such as Michael Beyrout's recent monograph. Designers should use a consistent design industry language when presenting their work to clients and should not succumb to a language of another discipline or to buzz phrases. Design educators and leaders should spread the language to young designers through education, lectures, seminars, and publication. They define ethics through the designer's acceptance of clients, responsible approach to strategy, bravery, and leadership will again differentiate the designer from the amateur and the corporation. Designers should evaluate their clients to determine if what they are promoting, how they promote, and to whom is socially responsible. The designer's role is to support their clients, look out for the best interests of the user, and be cognitive of how the work affects society. Through these roles, the designer also protects the integrity of the design industry. Design has a history of ethical bravery. Many designers, including Jan Techschild and Will Burton, fled Europe during World War II, standing up to Hitler. The designer of today can certainly stand up to an unethical client. U.S. designers should evaluate how they participate in the consumerism of American culture. Are designers working with clients whose products are truly needed and add value to society? Additionally, is the designer using strategies of conceived value, status purchase, stereotypes, or negative role schemas to promote the client's agenda? The Dove social media film clip from October 2017 promotes racism through negative stereotypes. The portion of the clip showing a black woman turning into a white woman demonstrates the designer's lack of sensitivity and understanding of racism in America. In this example, we needed a strong designer to say no. If the phrase good design is good business can become part of business vernacular, then good ethics is good business should also be delivered through design and from the designer's bravery to make socially responsible decisions. To further secure the relevancy of design into the future, there must be a defined, well-rounded design education. All design education should offer design theory and design history as well as design courses. This type of education separates the design professional from the amateur. But the designer's contact with clients constitutes the need to be at most an expert or at least interested in a multitude of industries and topics. This mandates further exposing the student to a wide range of meaningful subjects beyond the general requirements of a liberal arts education to ensure the young designer is learning how to think and be a perpetual learner. Juliet Cesar, professor at the New School, describes this as a self-learner, someone who is comfortable being uncomfortable while they learn something new. The toughest hurdle to the relevancy of design into the future may be placed on the educator to create the forever curious learner, an interest in usage of design language, a willingness to be ethically brave, and patience to climb the design profession ladder. Now let's go back and imagine that design presentation from the beginning again. Imagine the designer's title matches their experience, skills, and the expectations of the client. Imagine as the designer presents, they are using a consistent design language that elevates the field of design, clarifies conversation, and educates the client. The client is from an entity that is promoting humanity in their products and communications to the world. The designer is engaged in the subject matter and thinking. The work of design is fun, difficult, satisfying, and worthy of protection into the future by those who love it. Defined roles, language, ethics, and well-rounded design school graduates will prepare the field of design to be challenge-ready and relevant into the future.